What's up, America? It's your favorite paisan, Johnny T. Yeah. Another episode of Wise Guys. Now, you know every week Kara and I hit the streets, and we go out and talk to great Americans. Why? Because we want your views to be on the news. Now, this week, we head out to one of my favorite places. We've been there before, the America First Warehouse. Why? Because there's a great event going on out there with the pain and stain of January 6th receding from our calendars. We look into, after 3 years in office, what are the outcomes? What are the things still going on with those affected most by January 6th. Now, the America Project sponsored a great event at the warehouse to honor the families and those most affected by the political persecution of the Biden regime. So we go to the America First Warehouse to talk to some great Americans, some Americans who were arrested 3 years later, just a few weeks ago. We also talked to some folks who have already been convicted and they're waiting for sentencing. We'll hear how it affects their families. And then finally, we'll talk to FBI whistleblower Kyle Seraphin, who will tell us the question everybody wants to know. Was Nancy Pelosi in on it on January 6th? We'll ask FBI whistleblower Kyle Seraphin this week, the Wise Guys at the America First Warehouse.
What are your thoughts on the fact that it's 3 years after January 6th and there's still people being held in pretrial detention?
Well, I think from what we've seen so far is that the punishment is the biggest majority of the process. That you see, they're utilizing the process where they'll get you to waive your rights, to a speedy and fair trial, and that's unconstitutional. It just shows you how far they're willing to go to make a point.
Does it surprise you that 3 years later, there's still this many people excited and supporting the January 6th prisoners?
It don't surprise me it's this many people, but it does surprise me how organized conservatives have gotten and how intentional we've gotten. It's just that I believe they've gotten beaten down, not into submission, but into domination. It's just so organized in terms of support and everything that you see real change happening all the way down to the to the jail cells.
Joe the Box, the man, the myth, the legend. What a party, Joe.
It's one of our best parties, there's no doubt about it. The America Project came through here. They brought some incredible speakers, and they raised a ton of money for our J6 hostages, and we know that they're hostages, Johnny.
How inspiring is it to see guys, they're arrested, they're waiting for their sentencing. You got parents with their kids in jail, and people are still fighting and keeping the faith to get these men out of jail. How inspiring is it to see that 3 years later?
This is a movement from God who's got involved here big time, brother. These families, these people have lost so much, have given up so much.
How important is it 3 years later for people to still be getting together like this?
It's getting more and more important. It really is. Because people are waking up to the fact it's not January 6th. It's our government encroaching on our rights.
Now with January 6th defended after 3 years, they've arrested you.
Yes.
But what are your thoughts? So Joe Biden's been in office for 3 years. It's been over 3 years since January 6th, and they're still using the narrative. What are your thoughts on people still being in jail pre-trial 3 years later after January 6th?
Truthfully, it's sad, it's disheartening. These are American citizens that disagreed. At the end of the day, people who committed violence, that's a different story. But so many of us we disagreed. And according to the First Amendment, we can express that disagreement. And the fact that the DOJ, the Democratic Party led by Joe Biden, want to punish us for disagreement, it rips the fabric of our country apart, and honestly, it breaks my heart.
Trump is saying he will pardon January 6ers. Do you think he will?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he should. I mean, if you actually caused destruction and did something illegal, I think you should, be, held responsible for that. But if you were just innocently, peacefully protesting, or you walked in because you were escorted in, you should not be incarcerated for that. That's not a crime, and it's absolutely incredibly insane that people have been in jail for that.
What do you think think Donald Trump would do different?
I think he'll let them out. I truly do believe he'll pardon every single person at this point under the grounds of entrapment. He's already announced yesterday that he would pardon everyone involved in January 6th on Truth Social.
Do you think that Donald Trump will pardon the January 6th defendants if he gets in office?
I believe that the January 6th guys and men and women are not defendants. They are not victims. They are political prisoners. They are not asking for pardons, and I think Donald Trump is going to do the right thing when he gets into office. We need an investigation into what happened that day.
What's your predictions for 2024 when it comes to January 6th? Do you think that the House will finally do an investigation?
Well, I certainly hope that the House would do it. I think that right now we've seen just a lot of weak leadership that's not willing to swing one way or the other around the fence because they're worried about what their image is going to look like while American people suffer. And, you know, we've already seen Joe Biden's come out swinging with January 6th. You know, even if you look at Harry Dunn and he's running where he created fake and false images about what actually happened on January 6th in the background of his promotional campaign for Congress. Of course, they're going to expedite those lies. They're going to make sure that they get that to the front and center of everything surrounding J6 so they can use it for their narrative. And that's the way that it'll be for Democrats. Let's see, you know, I'd love to see more reaction out of Republicans to, you know, try to defeat that narrative as well.
The Department of Justice has come out and said that they're going to arrest a lot more people that were there on January 6th in 2024. What are your thoughts?
I think that's absolutely insane. I'm still frustrated about the people that have already been in jail for the last 2 years with no actual convictions for what they did. People that were just standing outside the Capitol peacefully protesting the 2020 election that they believe to be rigged, to be stolen. The fact that they're in jail is insane. So the audacity to try and bring more people, even now in 2024, to bring them to jail for January 6th is absolutely asinine. That frustrates me so much.
What do you think about Merrick Garland's Department of Justice saying that they're going to arrest many more people that were there on January 6th in the coming year?
I think it's absolutely disgusting. We're taking away people's constitutional rights. We're taking away their right to assemble. We're taking away their right to peacefully protest. Now we're taking away the right to free speech, and it's dangerous, and it has to stop.
Do you think that Congress will do an investigation? The Republicans are running the House, and they've yet to do an investigation on January 6th. Do you think they will in 2024?
I think they have to. I think it's not up to Congress. You know, they work for us is what we need to remind them. So it's not up to Congress, it's up to we the people. And we need to be asking for that because that's what needs to happen.
Guys, everything you're doing for Newsmax, the independent reporter that comes out there, I know Kara's been doing it forever. We met back in 2020. And so we need more of this because we can't trust our legacy media anymore. And unfortunately, they've been compromised. More people needed to get involved. This is just an example of regular people getting up off their butt, off the couches, and doing something about it.
Well, the wise guys will be fighting for the January 6th and America. Thanks, man.
Brother. Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it.